Well, according to James Gunn, who, of course, is the head honcho, or, well, one of the head honchos at the DCU, they've cast their Clayface, which is the only other film that's on its way. You know, you get Superman. There's a Lanterns series on streaming, but the only other movie will be Supergirl. And the third movie will be Clayface. Not Batman. Clayface. So here we are at Cosmic Book News once again, and Tom Rice Harris, I'm assuming it's this guy, will be Clayface. Yeah. Yeah. I imagine he'll look a little different in the movie. James Gunn has announced that the new Clayface for the DCU, after what Gunn calls a long and incredibly inexhaustive search, Tom Rice Harris has officially landed the lead role in Clayface, the next major film from DC Studios following Supergirl. In a post on Threads, Gunn revealed the casting and praised Harris' performance. After a long and incredibly exhaustive search, we finally have our DCU Clayface at Tom Rice Harris. Both Matt Reeves and I were just blown away by this guy and can't wait for you to see this film, directed by James Watkins and written by Mike Flanagan. The Clayface films begins shooting this October at, Warner Brothers. Leaves Den in the UK and hits theaters September 11th, 2026. Yeah, it's going to be done on the cheap because it's primarily being done as a horror movie. Sort of this body horror thing. So what happens to him, and I believe he will be playing the Matt Hagen version, similar to the Batman, the animated series, which you're never going to beat that series. That's the best iteration of Batman outside of the comics. But that narrative, pretty much doing a live-action take on that, of this actor who's trying to restore his looks. I guess it won't be because of age. He'll probably suffer some injury on the set, and he'll have some damage. But then this special chemical helps restore his looks, But there's a price to pay. You end up becoming this giant walking turd. But you can take on the likeness of anything you want. But you got to really concentrate at it, That's the problem. He even in the show, they explain that. He says, it's like trying to keep a muscle flexed. You can't maintain it. So anyway, who is this guy? I have no idea. But apparently he was in a show called Suspicion on Apple TV opposite Uma Thurman. Never saw it. The Return opposite Ralph Fiennes and Juliette Binoche. Never saw it. Kandahar with Gerard Butler. Never saw it. The Gentleman from Guy Ritchie. Never saw it. White Lines on Netflix. Never saw it. So I'll have to take their word for it that he's the guy. But yeah, he'll probably do all right. But I wonder if that means he's Clayface. Will he show up in a Batman movie as, Clayface? Could be. I don't know. Anyway, Harry's beat out several contenders for the part, including Jack O'Connell, Tom Blythe, and George McKay. Born in Cardiff and trained at the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama, Harry's also made a West End debut in Mojo, alongside Rupert Grint and Ben Whishaw. Oops, that's the oven. Clayface is set in the new DCU and is being positioned as a low-budget horror tragedy film. The story has been said to focus on a B-list actor who transforms into a shape-shifting being after using a mysterious substance to stay relevant. There you go. It's almost the same plot as Substance with Demi Moore, That was a good movie. Check it out. Weird and creepy, but, good movie. In DC Comics, Clayface first appeared in Detective Comics 40 in 1940. What are the odds? The character's powers have evolved. Yeah, he didn't have powers originally and all that. I've been through this in previous Clayface videos, but you get the idea. And for Matt Reeves, maybe Clayface was in the running for the Batman Part 2, and it would have been that one because that's a more reality-based version of the character where it's just the guy in disguises and stuff. still a pissed off actor, and committing a series of murders. That might have made a pretty good film, but I think they want to have it more involving Penguin after the Penguin success. But anyway, the characters, but he's additionally depicted as a man turned monster, capable of reshaping his body at will, and a villain of Batman. And there's been multiple Clayfaces. But the Matt Hagen version is more likely the one they'll go with. But nevertheless, he's already appeared in Creature Commandos, which is the first, I don't know, show actually of the DCU. Is that just another Clayface, or is it this guy? I mean, they used, of course, Clayface can shapeshift and all that, so it doesn't really matter the voice actor who plays them. That's one of the things that, at least most of the characters, whether if you appear in animated form, the voice actor will play the live action version in any live action, version. So anyway, the film, directed by James Watkins, with a script initially written by Mike Flanagan and additional drafts by Hossein Amini, who wrote Drive and Obi-Wan Kenobi. DC Studios moving forward. Gunn and Peter Safran are producing alongside the Batman director Matt Reeves and Lynn Harris. Clayface continues Gunn's new DC slate following Creature Commandos and Superman. DC Studios is expected to showcase new footage and updates at the San Diego Comic-Con next month, including a look at Peacemaker Season number 2, and possibly more from Clayface. By next month? I mean, maybe concept art or something? But, well, whatever. To follow the likes of Supergirl and Superman with Clayface is an odd choice. But on the other hand, with, the costs of filmmaking being so expensive, to do a low-budget film and pull that off is an interesting, and a very smart thing to do. And you might even get away with a Batman movie. It would be a little more expensive than the Clayface one, but just street level crime or even horror scenarios like Clayface would be, could be a very smart move to pull this off, to maintain your DCU. And as they're profitable, that's the real key, then you can bankroll more expensive films as you go. Yeah. But still, it's rather odd that this is what you do, but I can't knock it entirely. And who knows, it might be really cool. But they did have to redo the script real hurry. It seems like rather rushed, but anywho, we'll see. By the way, again, Batman the Animated Series already did the best take on it. So at least look to that for inspiration.